Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Glad you're here. Hopefully my mic is working. I've got my do not disturb on. I'm actually in the middle of kind of some breaking news on my day job, so I think this is probably going to be a little shorter than I would like it to be, but I'm glad you're here. Today we are continuing our coverage of the murder of John O'Keefe, specifically the trial of his girlfriend, 42-year-old Karen Reed. And we're going to be zooming in on the testimony of Jennifer McCabe. Now, I've been going through the live chat before we even got started, and I'm just going to go ahead and put this out there. You guys already know, man, I am not the guy that has been looking at this case closely from the very beginning. That is why I started with an interview with Sean McDonough, which has been actually one of my more popular videos in recent memory on the channel. And then a couple nights ago, I did one with Jennifer Coffindaffer, who presented the other side of the story. Not a lot of people were really thrilled that I did that, but I'm glad that I did. Number one, I like Jen. I find her to be a good person and somebody who has expertise, but I know a lot of you disagree with me on that, and it's totally cool. We can completely disagree, and as long as we remain respectful and not disagreeable, right? So, but as I was looking at the coverage from yesterday, I read a couple of articles that I'm going to pull up here. If you just give me a second, you guys have to be really patient with me right now just because of everything that is going on with the breaking news. So thank you for being cool about that. Give me just a second. Here we go. Okay. I want to start with this over here. Okay. This is an article from the Boston Herald from yesterday, and it is basically about Jen McCabe's testimony. And then I'm just going to read a little bit here, and then we're going to get into some of the other stuff that I prepared, including court docs. Okay. Witness Jen McCabe testifies, blah, blah, blah. Okay. The question followers of the Karen Reed murder trial have been waiting for was delivered on the 16th day. Just when did Jennifer McCabe make the search, Haas long to die in cold? Okay, this is something that came up in both the interviews that I did with Sean McDonough and with Jennifer Coffindaffer. Okay, defense attorney Alan Jackson presented cell phone record analysis that points to that search being made at 2:27 a.m. on January 29th, 2022, hours before John O'Keefe's body would be found on the frosted front lawn of 34 Fairview Road. McCabe countered that the analysis may show that, but she actually made the search a little after 6:20 a.m. at the behest of Karen Reed herself. Quote, Ms. McCabe, the reason you deleted that 2:27 a.m. search is that if it was found you searched for that, it would incriminate you, Jackson said in a statement that was objected to, of course. And we're going to watch a little bit of this. But McCabe had a response anyway. I did not delete that search. I did not make that search at 2:27 a.m. I would not have left John O'Keefe outside to die in the cold because he is my friend who I love. All right. So reading this article and knowing that I asked both Sean and Jennifer Coffindaffer about this. Oops, sorry guys. I need to turn something off. Give me just a second. I need to mute some stuff. Yeah, this is breaking news. I've been listening to the police scanner. Okay. All right, so let's look at, I'm going to put on my headphones so I can hear this okay. Let's take a look at what Sean McDonough said just the other day here on my channel. Here we go.
The defense said, we're having federal agents testify. The feds also did two things. Categorically denied that John could ever have been hit by that car. That's number one. They got this super high-speed analyst at a ARRC. 3 people with PhDs are going to come in with their 3D animations and show it's impossible, and that's their quote, that SUV hit John, or John was even had contact with the SUV, because the injuries are not consistent. That's going to be brought up. And then the FBI lab in Quantico, Virginia, searched Jen McCabe's phone, and this is the other part, at 2:27, long before John was found, and after she got home to her residence, she Googled how long to die in the cold.
Oh, come on.
Oh, I'm sorry, Gavin, there's so much. I should have told that earlier.
Oh. Okay, so that is what Sean said in our video here. You can go back and take a look at that. Just go back to the channel. There's like 150,000 views on that video, which is quite a lot for my channel. Now, let's go over to what Jennifer Coffendaffer said. Now, listen, again, I'm just showing you kind of both sides of the argument here before we really dig in, okay? So here is from Jen.
There's 2 huge ones. The dog and
guys, I'm sorry, I didn't know that there was this echo on that video until today. So sorry about the bad audio.
There's 2 huge ones. The dog and the 227. You know, that phone call happened, or
She's saying there are 2 red herrings. 2 red herrings. The dog and then the 227 call. I'm sorry, I'm gonna start it over. Another 8-second start over.
There's 2 huge ones. The dog and the 227. You know, that phone call happened, or this Google search occurred at 2:27 in the morning. Those are the 2 big red herrings.
Why is that Google search a red herring?
It's a red herring because it didn't occur at that time. She entered through Safari. And on an iPhone, when you go through Safari, she was Googling Ozone basketball, different scores. This was at 2:27 in the morning. You know, they had just gone to bed. She's sitting there running through her phone, Googling basketball scores. She's a coach. Her kids are athletes, or they're basketball. She brings that up. This is in testimony. They're athletes. And so she likes basketball. So she's Googling that. And now it's open, and that writes to a WAL file, and it's saved under that timestamp. And then at 6:30-ish in the morning, she Googles how long to die in snow twice, because Karen Reed is screaming at her saying, "Oh my God, is he dead? Is he dead? I hit him. How long to die in the snow?" And so Google it. She's screaming at her. This is in testimony. This is facts and evidence. And so she Googles it. And that's why she wrote HOS, because it's a frantic moment, the how long to die in snow.
Okay, so all due respect to both guests, they're both sharing their point of view, and obviously Sean's point of view is from the side of Karen Reed is being framed, and obviously Jen's point of view is from the side of the prosecution has this right? Neither of them are like, what did somebody say in here? Somebody said like, oh no, okay, I was going to misquote somebody in here. Neither of them are coming from a place where they're evil or bad or good. It's just their point of view. Okay. So for me, I want to actually dig into this a little bit. And so thanks to Sleuthy Goosey's awesome Google Drive that gives us a lot of access to documents, we have this affidavit by a guy named Richard Green. in support of a motion. Okay, so this is an affidavit by Richard Green. I don't need to introduce him because he's about to introduce himself. Okay, so let me just read part of this. This is a 37-page affidavit. We're not going to go through all of it, just a couple pages. Okay, I, Richard Green, under oath, do depose and state as follows. I am a data forensics expert with United States Forensics LLC, hereinafter USF. I am a certified computer examiner with the International Association of Computer Forensic Examiners and hold certifications in cybersecurity, computer crime investigations, and digital forensics and computer investigations. AS. That must be an associate's degree. The following facts and information are based on my own personal knowledge, and I could testify competently thereto if called upon as an expert witness to do so. I declare that the following is true and correct to the best of my knowledge, and I have no personal interest in the outcome of this case. USF has received inter alia cell phone data images of 2 iPhone devices, which were forensically imaged by the Massachusetts State Police in connection with this case. They have been entered into evidence as follows, and it is an iPhone belonging to Jennifer McCabe and an iPhone belonging to John O'Keefe. The data images have been processed and reviewed with Cellbrite Physical Analyzer and Axiom Forensics. Additional forensics tools utilized include Belkasoft X, Sanderson SQLite or SQLite for those of us who are purists, Forensic Explorer, and CellHawk by Hawk Analytics. All times listed have been converted to Canton, Mass. Local time, which is UTC-5, unless otherwise noted. All right, this is where we're going to get to the crux of it, okay? Analysis of Jennifer McCabe's phone. I have analyzed the data obtained from the forensic image of Jennifer McCabe's iPhone 11. Here's a serial number, evidence number, using the tools outlined in paragraph 4 above. That analysis has revealed significant exculpatory evidence. What is exculpatory evidence? Evidence that would prove the defendant is not guilty is the easiest way to say that, okay? In my professional experience, going into the search history, in my professional experience, an analysis of the device's internet search history often gives valuable clues as to the user's intent or knowledge surrounding an incident. I conducted a review of the search history information obtained from Jennifer McCabe's iPhone 11 and observed the following significant artifact from the morning in question. Search term, Haas long to die in the cold. We know that is a misspelling of how, right? Date and time is January 29th, 2022 at 2:27 and 40 seconds a.m. That's the URL, so that's just a search term in Google. The source is the Safari suspended state tab, and the state is deleted as reported by Cellbrite. Now, here is the thing. Actually, let me not get into the thing. Let me just keep reading. Thus, search history information obtained from Jennifer McCabe's cell phone indicates that on January 29th, 2022, at 2:27:40 a.m., the phone's user entered the following search in Safari. Haas long to die in the cold. A true and correct copy of Cellbrite information, blah, blah, blah. Now, I just want to go down to paragraph 7. This is probably my last one. In order to confirm the accuracy of this search event as reported in Cellbrite, I independently performed a low-level analysis of the artifact found in USF-01, which is the search, which was located in the browser state.db-wal file. This is a write-ahead file. These are what a lot of people might consider a cache or a memory file. It just gets things ready to actually write into the database. Write-ahead files are temporary in nature and show the location where data is written before commits to the main database are made. The particulars of this artifact are as follows. It was located in, private whack var, whack mobile, whack library, whack Safari, whack browser state.db-wal, database record ID 4028, raw data time, and it gives a Unix timestamp. Now, for those of you who are sleuthing on this one, these can get a little confusing, because in generally speaking, Unix raw timestamps are based off of how much time has elapsed since a certain date. And standard in computer science is January 1st, 1970. But somebody, when they started making smartphones, probably to get themselves past the Y2K whole thing, which we know really wasn't a deal, but in order to get past that, in cell phones, they actually start from January 1st, 2001. And I know this just from experience using forensics data of phones on other cases. Also, so you guys know, and I have been a certified database administrator since 1998. I know databases really well. I'm not a forensics guy, but when we're talking about SQL and we're talking about these kinds of things, I'm telling you, I'm your guy. I know about this sort of stuff. Okay, so I went and tested it to see what that raw time is, and let me just show you what that is. I converted it myself, so this number, which is the Unix raw time, and I should show you what the formula is on this. Give me a second. I'm going to show you the formula. That is the formula that I used. Okay, so we're taking this number, we're dividing it by basically 12 times 24 times 60 is basically what that number is. And then we're adding the date from January 1st, 2001. And that is how we get 7:27 a.m. UTC time. The next thing we do is we just subtract 5 hours from that. I'll show you that now so you can see the formula. And so we're just taking this number and we're subtracting 5 hours from it to get back to the Eastern Standard Time of the day of January 29th, 2022. That's 2:27 and 40 seconds. It's 40.465 seconds. Okay. So this document, at least in paragraph 7, is true and accurate. So I think that's all we need to show on this document. Okay. So Sean is saying, hey, listen, a forensics guy from the FBI is going to testify that this search happened at 2:27 a.m. Jen is saying, no, this is just a write-ahead file, and it just got confused. Let me tell you my opinion on this, my educated opinion on this, okay? My opinion on this is that if I were the architect of the database, if I was building the database that is used in Safari to track things like searches and all the activity in Safari, I would not timestamp a write-ahead file when a tab is deleted. I would timestamp the actual event. Okay, the delete itself is a deletion, right? That's a deletion from the database, the delete of the tab. The timestamp, in my opinion, if I were to create this database, the timestamp would be very much the time when the search occurred. So my opinion, I jive up with Mr. Green here when he said that this happened at 2:27 a.m. Now, the lawyers have said, well, she tried to conceal what it was that she was doing by deleting that information. And that is actually, in my opinion, against just my opinion here, guys, that is not what happened. She closed a tab, which then deleted the state of that tab. And that's it. I don't think that that was something that she was trying to hide. I don't think she was smart enough to hide it, honestly. So that is my opinion. Now, I'm going to put my headphones back on, and we're going to actually watch a little bit of the testimony. I think I got about, it's about 3 minutes. So we're not going to really dig into this. We're just going to listen to this part of it, okay? So this is from testimony from yesterday.
You Googled them, ma'am. You're looking on your phone and you Googled how long to die in cold and how long to die in CIKD. Both of those. You Googled them, right?
I did, yes.
And they result in the exact same search results, don't they?
I have no idea.
So my question to you is, why the two searches?
She was standing next to me screaming, shaking my hand. My hand was cold. I was trying to Google it. Obviously.
Hey guys, real quick, if you have a comment that you want me to see, sorry to interrupt this, but if you have a comment that you want me to see, put GF in it, and that way I can take a look-see, okay?
Whatever came up first didn't make sense because I had some misspellings, so I did it again.
So Hoslong to die in cold results in articles concerning dying of exposure, doesn't it?
We never got the chance to read it.
Well, you're the one, when you say we, who's we?
Karen and myself.
Well, you're the one holding the phone, Ms. McCabe.
Correct.
So you're looking down at your phone and you see exactly what comes up, correct?
I don't remember exactly what came up.
Well, what came up was something about dying of hypothermia, didn't it?
That's what she asked.
So why do it again? Why do it again, Miss McCabe? You had the result. Why the second search?
I cannot answer that beyond telling you that my hands were frozen. She was shaking me and screaming at me.
And you see the time, can we scroll up, please? According to the Celebrate data, you see this first search that says Hoslong to die in cold?
I do.
What's that time?
You've got the, it's right over at 2:27
AM or PM?
a.m.
Ms. McCabe, you made that search at 2:27 a.m. because you knew that John O'Keefe was outside in your sister's lawn dying in the cold, didn't you?
Absolutely not. I did not make that search at that time. No.
Realized the next morning, after John was discovered, after 6 a.m., that you had an incriminating search on your phone, didn't you?
Absolutely not.
To cover your tracks, you searched it again in order to overwrite the original search at 2:27, correct?
Again, absolutely not.
But you were nervous and you screwed it up. So the first search you made at 6:23 was Hoslong to die in CIKD, wasn't it?
No.
Well, you see the search right there, correct?
I see the search, but I disagree with your narrative.
And what's the time frame of that search?
6:23.
And you agree that that time frame is accurate, right?
Again, it's what the report says.
And that comports with your memory of that morning, about 6:23 in the morning in 51 seconds.
Correct.
Okay. So I want to take this off. So her, I guess, response to, well, first of all, there are a couple things I want to address here. Number one, the defense attorney's entire job, his name is Mr. Jackson, right? His entire job is to plant seeds of doubt in the minds of the jurors. Remember that in a trial court in the United States, which is practiced, I mean, everywhere where it's practiced, law that is based on English common law, the judge of the facts is the jury. The jury is the ultimate judge of the facts. They are, the judge doesn't get to judge the facts. The judge just gets to judge the law, make sure that they are working within the bounds of the law. You notice that the prosecution did not object to Mr. Jackson saying, you had incriminating evidence, and so you decided to delete it, didn't you? Now, Jennifer McCabe can say, no, I did not do that. Right? Nope, I did not do that. But it is the jury who has to decide, one, is she credible in her testimony? And two, is the evidence that is being presented exculpatory, basically? Does it provide reasonable doubt? In my opinion, guys, just my opinion, fat middle-aged guy out in Western Pennsylvania with a background in information technology and computer science, I would never, ever, ever design a system involving a database that would update a record after the event occurred. I would put a timestamp at the event. So, in my opinion, I think that it's bad news for Jennifer McCabe. I think that's probably very good news for Karen Reed. And I do have to say that out of all the people that I've talked to in this case, everyone that I've talked to in this case, even the people on the different sides who disagree, everybody seems to be genuinely seeking justice for John O'Keefe. But ultimately, it's going to be the jury that decides. Okay? So that is what I wanted to share with you. Now, let me go through and just see if there are any chats. I do see there are a couple super chats. Holy cow, ICU, that is extremely generous. Congrats on 70,000. You deserve it many times over. Justice for Ellen Greenberg is where I met this channel. ICU, I deeply, deeply, deeply appreciate that. Thank you very much. And I am so happy that today we're 70,000 strong in this community, guys. We're 70,000 strong, which is just absolutely nuts to me. And the other nuts thing about it for me is that if you go over here to the website and click on this button, go to the fish tank, we're really close to 1,000 people in the fish tank as well. So we are a community that is growing, and it's just a lot of fun to share this journey with you guys. And ICU, I very, very much appreciate that super chat. Autumn Doyle, who is one of our intrepid moderators who really takes care of me. Thank you, Autumn. I love what you do too. Thank you for being an amazing mod. And Purple Puddles says, you go, Gavin. Thank you very much, Purple Puddles. I really appreciate it. All right, let's just go see if there are a couple of things that let's see. ICU says, talking with Jill Downey, I am a little with you. I think Sean and Jen both stirred some Kool-Aid, and Gavin is a bit over his head on this one. It's possible. Yeah, no, it's not only possible, it's probable. I am over my head on this one. Tracy, off topic, but congrats on the 70K. Thank you. No, congratulations to all of us. Thank you all. Really appreciate it. Emily's, I thought Gavin wasn't a math guy. No, Gavin is not an arithmetic guy. Gavin is not simple math guy. When we get into formulas and we get into the higher levels of math, I'm actually pretty good at that sort of stuff. I'm just really, really bad at arithmetic. Let's see. Surely a Cellbrite report differentiates between closed, deleted, automatically deleted by user. Emily, I've never used Cellbrite. I've wanted to, and I've watched some training videos on it and stuff, but I do have experience with raw data that is dumped out of a cell phone. It's not long experience. It's not broad experience, not really all that deep, but a cell phone is just chock full of miniature little databases, which is my playground. Okay. If I were the person who built the database in question here, I probably would enter an entry into the database when a tab was closed. That's what I would do. But that is not what that entry said. That entry was the actual search, the visit to the website. Just my opinion. Just my opinion. Let's see. GF, if there was an opportunity for search results to err, wouldn't it be the first one? The how long TI die on CLKD, why would it skip that one? Let's say I'm trying to understand your question here, Destiny, and it's not the way you phrase the question. It's how I have the general exposure that I have to the case. I think that, first of all, I don't think that the database would err unless there was a glitch. That kind of glitchiness would leave artifacts. It would leave corrupted data. So the fact that they don't mention any corrupted data tells me that the database, it's not really even the database. It is the software that is making those database entries did not err. The database stored the data. And until we see other evidence that says something about some kind of corruption, I think that probably it is intact. Just my opinion. Mystery Singer says, Gavin, Jackson should have asked Jen, where on the video did Karen ask you to search Haas Long to die in the cold? That's really good. Tracy talks a lot. GF, I'm really looking forward to hearing what the data experts have to say about this. Me too. The defense experts, right? I guess the prosecution is probably going to bring in their experts too. Even if there is an explanation for that 2:27 a.m. search being wrong, why delete it? So again, I think that is a misnomer. I don't think that she deleted it. The delete event is just simply the closure of the tab as I understand it. Let's see. Samaria Graham. Gavin, doesn't anyone else think that to be a weird question? How long does it take to die in the cold? Implies the knowledge of when he landed on the ground in the cold. Oh, Samaria. Yeah, that there is a very clear implication there. They would have had to calculate, well, how long has he been out here, right? That's a very good question. Jen, should she have pled the fifth? I don't think that she is. I don't think the prosecution would think that she has implicated herself in Mr. O'Keefe's murder. I think that they're probably just looking at this as a defense tactic. Gavin, Jen said her first search brought up a result that didn't make sense, but later says we never got a chance to read it. If she didn't read it, how would she know the result didn't make sense? That is good logic. Thank you. Purple Puddles, thank you for Justice for John. Yes. Let's see. JM confirms all the data that puts her in a good light, but says the incriminating stuff in the same reports are wrong, or that she didn't do it, maybe because her IT hubby did it for her. I don't know, man. Listen, the security layers on a let me just say it this way. The reason that forensics experts look at images of phones is because it's very, very difficult to actually update the phone itself on a forensics level. You can do it. Yeah, you can do it. But it would it would be difficult even with an IT background. I can't think of a way that I could, without leaving evidence and artifacts behind, update my phone or my wife's phone in order to cover up a crime. And I'm a guy with some experience on this. Now, maybe given some time, I could come up with a way to do that, but the evidence that is left behind is copious. Like, it's copious. It's all over the phone. It's not just in the places that you would think it to be as well. It's all over the phone. But I appreciate the comment. Gail says, congratulations. Thank you, Gail. I appreciate that. Let's let's see. Bluebonnet asks, what do you think would be the motive for the Alberts to harm John if they are the culprits? I don't have an answer to that. I just know what Sean posited to me, and that is that there was a fight, got out of hand, John got hurt, they tried to cover it up. That was his theory that he shared with me. Hopefully I'm fairly characterizing that. Destiny says, Gavin, if you look at her searches, the one before the Haas long to die in the cold was the second entry. Seems like the first search entry would have been the one to glitch. Yeah, so I'm following you there, Destiny, now, but I don't think that there was a glitch. With the evidence that we have been given, I don't think that there is a glitch. I think that it is accurate to what happened. Beach Nut, she probably thought closing the tab deleted it, at least to some degree. Yeah, could be. Did you check out Ian Whiffen, who writes the software Cellbrite, who will be testifying for? I did not see that, no. Let's see, where is the Oxygen knee basketball search in relation to this? Actually, I don't know, Helena. Or Helena, I don't know how to pronounce your name either. I'm so sorry. Are you more of an English or an American bent? I'm not sure. Let's see. I'm sorry, guys. I need to hop off because I have this breaking news that I need to get back to. But one last comment that I wanted to add here is another super chat from Elf saying, thanks for your informative coverage. Well, thank you, Elf. And thank you all for joining me tonight. I deeply appreciate it. Please remember that you can always go to my website for information on the cases that I'm covering. I have not created a case file for Officer O'Keefe's murder because it is so widely covered and there is all of that evidence that Sleuthy Goosey has put together. But you can go and look at cases that I've covered, that I've put some information out about. You can also contact me by clicking here, and by clicking this little fish right here next to all the socials, you can go to the fish tank, and I would invite you to join us over there on the fish tank where we just have lots of conversations about true crime in general. All right. With that, guys, thank you so much for joining me and for listening to my opinions. They are just my opinions, but I do think that in this case, I have some background that adds to the conversation. I deeply appreciate you liking, subscribing, and those super chats, guys, are just so deeply appreciated. Thank you so much. With that, I will bid you adieu for the night, and I will see you on the next one. Take care. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked what you saw, please consider subscribing. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below.